Hello chaps and chappets, and welcome to a very special Board Games Everybody Should ... In this video I'm going to show you how to play this up and coming game called Immortal 8. What is Immortal 8? Well, it sees up to 3 and 8 players take on a role of a different god, and each god is going to construct a civilization from nothing, and after 2 very quick card drafting rounds the game will end and players will count up their supremacy points and their culture points and maybe even some diamonds to see who is the best of the best of the best of the best immortals. But each immortal god does not know who the other immortal gods are, because each god has their own way of scoring extra bonus points at the end of the game, therefore leaving a big element of deduction. So what I'm going to do is I will show you this prototype version of this game, which is coming out later this year. Each player will receive a double-sided player board. You'll place this in front of you with the round one side face up, indicated by the number 1. This symbol also indicates which way the cards will pass around the table, in this case, clockwise. There's also a breakdown of the 3 phases that occur in this round, and 5 spaces for the 5 cards you're going to draft for the first round. In the middle of the table, you'll place out all the tokens, which will consist of 5 diamonds, coin tokens, victory point tokens, supremacy tokens, wonder tokens, culture tokens, and civilization tokens, which are broken down into military, science, and chaos. You'll also shuffle the 3 decks of cards which come in the games. There's the civilization cards, there is the trade cards, and then of course there are the 8 immortal cards. After shuffling the 8 immortal cards, you'll deal one of these secretly to each player. That player will then look at their immortal and place it face down again in front of themselves. If you'll notice on the back of the card, there's a list of all of the 8 immortals and how they will score at the end of the game. You'll then take the deck of civilization cards and you will deal 5 of these to each player. This is their starting hand that they can look at. You're now ready to start playing. The game is played over 2 rounds, and each round is broken down into 3 phases. The first phase is the draft phase, where you'll be choosing one of the cards that you have in your hand and keeping it and placing it face down in the leftmost column of your player board. The remaining cards you're going to place to the left hand side, ready for the player on your left to take them for the next draft. Then, once every player has chosen their card, you're going to choose whether you want to activate it and put it into play, or just keep it face down. If you keep the card face down, you're going to get compensated in coin. The amount of coin you gain is marked on your player board next to that card that you have just kept. You'll take the coins as marked and place it on top of that card. But if you want to put the card into play, you reveal it for everybody to see. Now, some cards have bonuses on them which will give you a token. In this case, the diamond mine gives me a wonder token. You'll place that token on top of the card. You may notice that the 4th card, if played, gets a double bonus. So in this case, not 1 military, but 2. Now, an important thing to remember is in the draft phase, in the first round, you're only going to be allowed to activate a maximum of 3 out of the 5 cards that you draft. So some of them are going to gain money and some of them are going to give you bonuses and powers. Now, once that's done, you take the cards from the player on your right, which should be 4, And you'll do the same again. You'll choose a card, you'll place it face down, you'll place these cards to the left, and then once everybody's ready, you will reveal it or not reveal it and collect money. Once this is done 5 times, that is the end of the phase. All the tokens on the cards will then go behind your player board, and any cards which are face down will go back into the deck and get shuffled ready for the next round. Now there's some limits on the tokens that you can actually keep. You cannot have more than 10 coin tokens, and you cannot earn more than 10 civilization tokens. Civilization tokens encumber the military, science, and chaos. If you were to earn a chaos token and it would take you up to 11 civilization tokens, that chaos token you do not get to keep. If you've constructed a wonder, you place this in the middle of the table with all the other players' wonders. If you've built a building or a hero, you will create 2 columns in front of you. Buildings in front and heroes behind. Buildings must always be placed in the order that they have been constructed from left to right. So now with all that done, we're in phase 2, which is the kingdom phase. The first thing you do in the kingdom phase is decide who is the star player. To do this, everyone looks at the heroes that they have in front of them. Each hero has a tactical number, and the player with the hero with the lowest tactical number becomes the star player. If there are no heroes in play and it's just buildings, then it's the player with the building with the lowest tactical number that becomes the star player. That star player will then do some activations. The first activation you can do is you can activate the buildings and heroes in front of yourself. Each building and hero can only be activated once. When you activate it, you follow the instructions as marked by the word action. So for Ilana here, I can place 2 culture on any building that I control, and then I incline the card 90 degrees to say that I've used it. This temple allows me to pay 2 coins, these go to the bank, and for every wonder that I own, and I own 2, I will get 2 victory points, so I get 4 victory points. This card is then turned 90 degrees. This market card will let me use the trade deck. I take the 2 top cards from the trade deck and I choose which resource I wish. I can take the military or the 2 coins. I'm going to go for the military. These 2 cards go into the discard and this goes into my reserve. Again, sending the card 90 degrees to say that you've used it. You can also, if you want, activate one and only one of the wonders in the middle of the table. Like this one, I could pay 5 coins and gain myself a wonder token, and obviously it would be cheaper if I had some buildings with this symbol on the top. This diamond mine will allow me to pay 5 coins to get a diamond, and diamonds are very rare in the game and hard to get, but they can be worth a lot of points. If you use a wonder, send it 90 degrees. You can also activate the buildings of the other gods sat around the table. Unfortunately, this will cost you money. The further away the building is, the more expensive it'll be for you. And also, if you activate another player's building, you're going to give them points in the form of culture tokens. In this 4-player example, our active player here would like to use some of the buildings of the other gods. He'd like to try and use this treasury. Now this treasury is 1 away, so it's going to cost them 1 coin to use this treasury, and the treasury would give them 3 coins back. So you pay 1 to the bank, but you get 3 coins back from the bank. This card then gets tipped 90 degrees, and it also gains this player 1 culture point. Now this treasury is better than this treasury because this one's farther away, and it would cost this player 1, 2, 3 coins either to go that way, or 1, 2, 3 coins to go that way, just to get 3 coins back, which is futile. But our active player wishes to use the armory here. So again, it could have gone this way, 1, 2, 3, and it would cost 4 coins that way, but they can go this way, and it would cost 1, 2 coins, which again go to the bank, which would then give them 1 military point, and then this again gets tipped 90 degrees and gains a culture point. Activations can be done in any order that you wish. You don't have to just do your buildings first and then everything else. They can go in any order that you want. So in the previous example, if I'd have activated the wonder Galmi's Sanctuary beforehand, I would have paid 5 coins and given myself a wonder, which would have given me 3 wonders. So when I used the Temple of Galmi, I would have got an extra 2 points. When that player has finished activating all the buildings, all the cards get turned back up to their upright position and play will pass to the next player on the left. Now, after every player has had a chance to activate buildings, wonders and heroes, it is time to move on to the third phase. But one thing you should remember, if you were the last player to activate buildings, wonders and heroes, then you're actually going to be the first player to activate buildings, wonders and heroes in the second round. So, the third phase is the supremacy phase. This is your chance to win a 4-pointed token. Yes, players will look through their civilization tokens, and if you have the most science tokens, you're going to win yourself a supremacy token, 4 points. If you have the most military tokens, you're also going to win a supremacy token. And guess what? Only if the dark ritual wonder is on the table will chaos tokens count, and so the player with the most chaos tokens will also gain a supremacy token. Now, if there's a draw between players in the number of tokens that they have, nobody wins anything. Nobody gets one of these. But if, and only if, you wish to, and you are Justice, you can reveal yourself and break ties to win that supremacy token. But you're going to be Justice for the rest of the game, and everyone's going to know who you are. Now, with all that done, you then move on to the second round. You're going to flip over your player board. You'll see that round 2 goes in an anti-clockwise direction. This is for the draft phase and the kingdom phase. You'll also notice that there are only 4 slots for 4 cards. Therefore, each player is going to be dealt only 4 civilization cards. Now, the difference between round 2 and round 1 is not really much, apart from the direction of the living draft. And also in the draft phase, you're only going to be able to play and activate 2 out of those 4 cards during that round. Also, in the kingdom phase, as I said, you're going to start with the last player who was active in the last kingdom phase and go in an anti-clockwise direction back to the first player who was the first player in the first round. Yeah, that's the one. Then you'll go to the supremacy phase, and that will be as normal, and then you will go to the final scoring. Scoring is done in the order of what god you are, and what the order is on the back of your Immortal card. So you'll read out the first one, which is Justice. You'll ask around the table, is someone Justice? Now, someone may have already revealed that they are Justice, or someone may not be Justice, and therefore you read out the next name, which would be Tomorrow. Once someone has admitted that they are a god, you'll start doing their scores. They will score 4 points for every supremacy token they have. They will score 1 point for each culture token on one of the cards that they control. They will score victory points for each victory point token that they have. You'll score points if you have the majority of wonder tokens. So if you have the most, you'll get 8 points. If you have the second most, you get 4 points, etc, etc. In case of a tie, all players get the same score. If diamonds have made it into the game, they will score as well. If only 1 diamond has been purchased by someone, it gets 8 points. If 2 or 3 diamonds have been purchased, then they are worth 4 points each. And you'll also score points for your own unique power. So in regards to Justice, all the supremacy tokens are worth double the values. They're not worth 4, they're worth 8. Some of the other Immortals have powers which will let them count points for each chaos token they have, or for each set of chaos and military and science tokens that they have, or the money, or the buildings that they've destroyed. There's even one called Tomorrow who will score points if they can guess the identities of all the other players at the table. Obviously, after you've gone through the whole list, this list here, the player with the most points is the winner. So there you have it, that's how you play Immortal 8. As I said, what you've seen in this video is of a prototype of the game which is coming later in 2018, so look out for it then. And now I will say ciao for now, and remember, if you've liked this video, give it a like. If you think someone would appreciate seeing this game, then share this video with them. If you want to help out with my show, you can go to my Patreon at Board Games Everybody Should and throw a few pennies my way and maybe get yourself a promo or two or win yourself a soundtrack. And you can always check out everything that I'm doing on my site, boardgameseverybodyshould.com. So, ciao for now and play nice with each other, please. Just sitting